Hey, good morning, food friends. Hope you're all healthy, happy, safe, and not glowing. It's Saturday morning. I'm sitting here reading the news, sipping my coffee, and I'm sort of stuck on this article about radioactive shrimp from Indonesia. Yeah, I'm going to take my glasses off here so that I can read this a little better and not get all that reflection on my glasses. But basically, there were four different ports in the U.S. that detected these shipments of shrimp due to radioactive material. All of this was sent from one company in Indonesia called BMS Foods. They were then distributed to two different wholesalers in the US, Beaver Street Fisheries and Southwinds Foods. Both of these companies have distributed them throughout the US, mainly through Walmart and a few other stores. I'm going to go into lots and UPC codes in just a few minutes. So, the radiation that was detected was actually from cesium 137. This is a highly radioactive material. They use this in hospitals and medical and science institutions for sterilizing equipment. They use cesium 137 for cancer research and cancer treatment. This is highly radioactive and, obviously shouldn't be in any type of food we're eating. Radiation has a cumulative effect over your lifetime. This isn't something that you just get exposed to and then your body heals and you can be exposed to again. As I said, it's very cumulative. So something like cesium 137 has a half-life of 30 years. And what that means is let's say you ate like a gram or a half a gram or just a tiny little amount. It's going to take 30 years for half of that amount to turn into a non-radioactive material inside your body. All throughout that time, it's shooting off neutrons, protons, giving off gamma radiation, wrecking your cells, wrecking your DNA. It's a really bad situation. And so now that we understand what's going on, let's look at exactly what's affected, who's selling what, and where the actual recalls are. One of the reasons I didn't report on this earlier is that they really weren't giving lot numbers, UPC codes, or any real information. The FDA had just sort of given out a warning that you should not eat great value shrimp from Walmart at all. But once they started to research this and a couple of days have gone on, they realized that this is a much bigger recall than they initially started with. Okay, so let's first look at all this recall information. We're going to look at Southwinds first. Southwinds was one of the wholesalers that distributed this radioactive shrimp throughout the US or potentially have done so. And this was all distributed under the product names of Sandbar, Best Yet, Arctic Shores, White Arctic Shores, Great American, and also the brand First Street. All of these are going to have those recalls listed to them, and I'll have all the UPC codes and the descriptions listed, in the description of the video as always, so that you've got the lot codes and the UPCs. But I think it's going to be best to avoid all of these in general. While they've given specific brands and lot codes and UPC codes, I just wouldn't eat anything from this distributor at all for quite a while until they get to the bottom of this. Radiation is something you kind of don't want to play with. This isn't listeria. This isn't any of the viruses or bacteria that can affect things. This is literally radioactive material, and there's no way to solve this. So the next wholesaler that's affected by this shrimp recall due to radiation is going to be Beaver Street Fisheries from Florida, and this is a company that distributes basically to Walmart and Sam's Club. So it would be under the brand name of Great Value. So if you're eating Great Value frozen shrimp, you're probably going to want to follow this and go to the description, look at the lot codes and the UPCs, because they're recalling a large quantity of their shrimp too. And just like I said for Southwinds distribution, I would not eat any of these until it's all sorted out. It's one thing to get listeria or one of the other diseases that can be treated and potentially come through. It's another thing to eat radioactive material and to have this stuff ticking away, wrecking your genes and your DNA sitting in your body. So radiation should be avoided at all costs, like if that wasn't common sense. So if you're a big shrimp eater, you're definitely going to want to watch out for this stuff that's been distributed through Southwinds or Beaver Street Fisheries. This is, as I said, highly radioactive. Cesium-137, as I stated, has that half-life of 30 years, which means it takes 30 years for half of what you've consumed to become non-radioactive. You've still got more radioactive stuff inside you. It takes another 30 years for the half of the half, and so on. So this is a cumulative effect. It doesn't just suddenly become non-radioactive, and to have something radioactive inside your body, that's not good. I mean, this whole time it's firing off neutrons, protons, gamma radiation, it's stripping your DNA, it's messing with your DNA. It's most likely going to cause tumors, potentially cancer. Definitely not something anyone wants to deal with. So I hope all my food friends out there are safe. I would totally avoid shrimp from these two distributors. Go ahead and check out the description of my video for all of the information, the lot codes and UPCs, and who's distributing what. Thanks for joining me here today. We're going to have more food awareness and more recipe videos coming out shortly as promised, but we wanted to make you aware of this radioactive shrimp recall for your safety. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already a member, please go ahead and do that. All of those actions greatly help the channel, and they help spread the word and get this all out there. Thank you all for joining me again. Hope you all stay safe. Peace, everybody.